Good afternoon, evening, or morning, guys, and welcome to Game Week 3 predictions, where we're also going to be talking about Game Week 2's results. Once again, it is myself, Josh, joined with Lewis.
The absolute mastermind. I'm the reason why there's loads of goals this weekend, but hello.
You have nothing to do with it. This weekend, we're very excited to talk about because if some of you weren't aware, the record was broken. 44 goals were scored in this weekend of football,
This is a
breaking the
fucking mental
record of
weekend.
43. It is mad. It is brilliant. It makes stuff like what we do so fun. And we're going to go straight into it, where the goals started with 7.
In a
Everton
game, that's
West
a
Brom.
lot. Yeah.
I said 2-0 Everton. You said 4-0 Everton. Everton said no.
Everton said fuck work. Everton went 5-2. That was and
It
I,
was a game in which just didn't stop. It started quite quickly. Dean Garner taking the lead for West Brom, arguably already. Watch the goal. Pickford should do better.
yeah.
However, with the response that Everton gave, you don't care as much.
It's funny because you'll kind of see this as a theme throughout the whole weekend. There was a lot of attacking brilliance, but also a lot of the goals were down to a lot of sort of poor defending. But I don't really care as long as I see him flying in. I don't really care. There were some excellent goals in this game as well.
Um, we can't not talk about the man. James Rodriguez was incredible.
Mate,
It's unjustified that he only got 1 goal and assist. He was brilliant.
he was instrumental in everything Everton did, and I still feel sorry for Richarlison for Everton because he had a goal and then it was deflected, and then Keane got it in the end on the rebound. His goal's got to come from somewhere, but he was excellent in the game. He was very energetic.
Well,
Yeah,
Richarlison picked up 3 assists.
yeah.
And I think if he'd have got a goal, that would have really topped him off.
I think
Excuse me.
I think that would have really hit off a
Excuse me.
sort of topped off a performance that really was sort of instrumental in Everton winning by so much.
Another man I'm going to have to talk to you about, as much as they didn't win. Mateus Pereira, the free kick he scored,
The free
was
kick.
just sublime.
What was that? That must have been from what? Best part of 35 yards?
Easily, just such a good free kick. And what was even better is it was just after half time, which I need to talk about really. Kieran Gibbs. He is an ex-Prem player. He's been in the Prem for a long time with Arsenal. He was in the Championship for 1 season with West Brom. The
Yeah.
experience that he brings. To smack James in the face. It wasn't even a punch. It was a smack in the face.
Yeah,
To get sent off. It was just ridiculous.
the thing is, Bilic can protest all he wants, but at the end of the day, the law is violent conduct is a deliberate strike to the face, or any part of the body for that matter.
And
But
going from that, Bilic got himself sent off.
yeah,
And it was just for continuously almost harassing Mike Dean about the red card. And when watching the game, you could hear Mike Dean continuously say, walk away, walk. He gave him multiple chances. Bilic did not want to take any of them and was straight red card. And it was the right thing to do. Mike Dean gets criticised a lot for his decisions. That was the right decision to make.
well, the thing is, like, you could kind of make a case for him. I mean, like, Bilic didn't use any, from what I saw from the video, any like bad words or anything. But at the same time, just if he's telling you to if he's telling you to leave him alone, you just don't take the risk, do you?
Well, what was interesting is in the game, I watched it on BT, and of people that watch BT, they have Peter Shilton, who does a lot of the ref watch kind of stuff. And the rules state that the manager cannot come onto the field of play at half time. He can exchange words with the ref walking down the tunnel, but they cannot stop and have an exchange of words on the pitch. So
Yeah.
what Bilic actually did is breaking the rules already.
Okay.
So his sending off was justified, but Mike Dean was actually giving him an exception to walk away. And there's a lot of arguments of saying, well, the changing rooms for West Brom are actually in the car park because of the COVID rules. However, irregardless, he should not have been on that pitch.
Yeah.
It really didn't help West Brom going into the game because they conceded from 2 set pieces. So obviously that lack of man in the box obviously cost them.
I do think it was a turning point in the game, the Gibbs sending off, because I think West
Yeah,
Brom were. I don't think they were going to go on to win the game, but I think West Brom were very much in with a chance of a result until then.
definitely, yeah. When you kind of watch back the goals, they all come from a slight area of set pieces. A lot of them are set. I think all of them were set pieces after half time,
Yeah,
which
there
just
were
shows,
a lot of them.
which just shows that lack of man in the box costs them big time. Especially like you look back at their last result of a losing. I want to check this losing this 3-0 to Leicester. Going to Everton, yeah, granted Everton have looked strong. They've won all their games so far. I would have wanted a little something to look a bit better. They didn't look any better than what they did against Leicester, if I'm honest. And it's worrying times already for West Brom.
Well, while they had 11 men, they looked a better attacking threat than they did against Leicester, but you kind of can't really see where they've improved defensively, because they've gone from conceding 3 goals to conceding 5 goals, regardless of whether you've got 10 men or not. That's not good. 2 of those goals they conceded with 11 men anyway.
Yeah.
But just to check up on your thing, I was just looking at my notes. There was 1 goal that wasn't a set piece in that second half, and that was Dominic Calvert-Lewin's second goal, Everton's second from last goal. That's another man I wanted to talk about. We talk about the guys supporting him, Richarlison and James, but Calvert-Lewin with a hat-trick, you can't really look past that.
I think what we spoke about a lot is that this is the season he needs to get firing. This is the season he needs to start breaking 15 goals. And he started well. I mean, he's top goal scorer in the league as it stands. He is starting as he means to go on. It's very early doors. It's 2 games in, and things change quickly, as we saw so many times across seasons before. But 4 goals in 2 games is very good to start your kind of tally under this new Ancelotti regime.
And Ancelotti apparently was saying in his interview, he said that he was saying to Dominic Calvert-Lewin how he needs to start getting the goal with 1 touch and getting in position so he can score with 1 touch, because when a striker has more than 1 touch, it takes away the chance for him to score, because players have time to react to the player having the ball and stuff like that. So I assume those words are kind of an inspiration, because all 3 of Dominic Calvert-Lewin's goals today were with his first touch of the ball.
Yeah, you have to be really impressed with what Ancelotti has done to fire up this side again,
especially from an attacking sense.
Achieving for a while with the team quality they've got.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of all I have to say on the game. If you've got anything else,
absolutely fine. So we're going to fly all the way up to Yorkshire, where the 2 new boys met. Second game in. We usually don't get treated to games like this very quickly. I went for a 2-1 Leeds to kind of bounce back from that loss at Anfield. You've gone for a 3-1 Leeds. Regardless, Leeds came in still with the win, but it did get close. It was a little scared for them.
That was 4-3 to Leeds in the end. It's funny how they've been on the bad side of a 4-3 result and the good side of a 4-3 result so far this season already, and we're only 2 games in.
Yeah, what I love the most is they've been back in the Prem. 2 games.
Yeah.
They have 7 conceded, 7 scored.
That's the kind of entertainment we want to see. Might even enjoy watching Leeds more than Arsenal this season.
Don't push it. That is their first win at Ellen Road in the Premier League in 14 years.
Yeah. Well, they ain't been in the Prem in that long, so that's mental, that is.
Did you know at Ellen Road they have only conceded 2 goals? No, actually tell a lie, because I have to add on them. It'd be 5 goals since December they've conceded at Ellen Road.
Oh wow!
Not lost one.
That's a mad stat at home. If they can keep that form going into the Premier League season, then you'd like to think that
could keep them up this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I don't believe they'll be dragged into a relegation battle, but there's the fear that they could be.
Well, yeah, especially that's for every promoted side. You kind of have that fear, but even away from home, they put up a fight against Liverpool. So it'd be nice to see that they have a bit of fight, wherever they're playing their matches.
the couple of things I want to pick up on this game, and this is what I love the most about doing this kind of thing. We're 3 games in, and we spoke a lot in the first game that they lacked. Fulham lacked a lot of their players. No Tete, no Mitrovic, no Anguissa.
Yeah.
What I love the most is he played Mitrovic, Anguissa and Tete. Anguissa got an assist, Tete got an assist, Mitrovic scored a brace.
Yeah. And
that's how simple it is. That's all he had to do.
I saw Areola making a couple of saves as well. I mean, you can't really defend him that much when he lets in 4, but still.
But, I mean, the first guy, there was nothing he was doing about that. Helder Costa. I mean, this is another thing I wanted to pick up. Is this the real Helder Costa? The Helder Costa I watched at Fulham, not very... quite frankly, he wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And Leeds, he's something else. He's insane.
Formerly of Wolves as well, am I right?
Yeah, he was signed on loan by Bielsa in the Championship with an option to buy.
Yeah.
He's played 2 games. He's picked up 2 goals already.
Yeah. He's
got 2 goals and an assist to his name.
Yeah, he was excellent, especially in this game. Obviously, where he got a brace. One of many players that got a brace this weekend, which makes me very happy with my prediction that you gave me 3 points for. But we'll go on to that later, just so I can sort of have a bit more time to enjoy it. But yeah, Costa was brilliant. Bamford was also brilliant.
Which is shocking.
Who would have thought Bamford would be brilliant in the Premier League? Not me.
I don't even think he did.
I mean, you know, goal scorer against Liverpool and now Fulham. It's not, it's not the most glorious achievement, but he's finding the goal somehow, and he was. There's going to be a theme of me saying this across the Premier League weekend, because there was a lot of players for a lot of different teams that were doing this. It was Richarlison, as I said, for Everton, and in this game it was Bamford for Leeds. The amount of runs he made in behind, which caused Fulham so many problems, and it helped Leeds out a lot, and it helped them, go 4-1 up in the first place in this game. I thought Bamford was brilliant.
I think the man that I felt was instrumental to this Leeds win was Matthias Klitsch.
Scored the penalty as well.
Second goal, second assist of the season. He's already picked up. Just want to double check my notes, but he's already picked up a goal this season.
Yeah.
So that's his second goal and first assist. I mean, I can't lie. I didn't really know much about Klitsch when he came up. I know he's very highly rated by the Leeds fans, and you can see why.
In this game, he kind of really showed it. Sort of other things I've got about this game is, Fulham were good after going 4-1 down, and you kind of, it's all well and good playing well. When you're losing by a handful, you've got to start doing that right from the start of the game and the important moments. And Scott Parker talked about that, and I really think that, with Leeds' goals, early on in the game and leading up to sort of that hour mark, I thought that Fulham really didn't help themselves, and I thought that was sort of the reason why they lost the game.
But I think we spoke about this. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how well you perform; they walk away with no points again.
Exactly, and that's
now
sort
0
of
out of a possible 6.
Yeah, and
the
that's
worst start he could have asked for.
That's kind of the thing. You can't start getting the goals after you've gone 4-1 down. You've got to not get 4-1 down in the first place, and that's how you get those results. And that's not going to help them.
What I want to do is we're going to fly all the way over to Manchester. So we're not going too far, so you don't need to pack much.
Still staying in Yorkshire.
We're still staying around that area. For a game in which I don't know.
Which swung completely in the other direction to what we both predicted.
With a 3-0 United for me and a 4-1 for you, Palace turn up with a 3-1 win.
A big turnout for the books.
It's a game in which it's strange because there's not a lot for us to talk about.
Well, the thing is, it's kind of weird how there's a lot for us to talk about, considering that the team we didn't expect to be the dominant side were completely all over United. I thought that, Palace were sort of the better team from, minute 1 to minute 90. I thought that, Zaha again, excellent. If you've got anything to say on that sort of general talk of the game.
We said, again, he's another one who needs to find his feet this season. And now what's that? That's 3-2.
Yeah.
That's something that Zaha is now starting to become prolific. Hodgson put faith in him that game and gave him captaincy, and I thought that's bold of Hodgson. But I think that shows what Hodgson, he believes in Zaha, and I think that's what maybe that's what he's lacked for a while. There's a bit of belief in him that his ability is there, and I'm the first one to criticise Zaha and say I don't believe the ability is there. What he did against United shows the ability is there.
Yeah, and it's sort of adding on to what he did against Southampton last weekend, where he sort of bullied the defence to get through. He kind of, he was in the same sort of mood against United as well, and as you can see, when he scored a brace and his general performance was, very threatening to United. But I think Palace as a team didn't really make many mistakes in the game, and I can't really think of anyone that sort of didn't perform in that Palace side. I thought, the only mistake Palace did make, they were kind of unlucky that it resulted in Van der Beek scoring on his debut, but Palace didn't really do anything wrong other than that.
I'm going to be slaughtered if I don't talk about this. I want to say this now.
Yeah.
I've seen the penalty appeal against Lindelof. It's not a penalty in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's very...
His body shape did not look... Because the way they do it is if the body shape looks distorted in the shadow, it's a penalty. I didn't see that. I didn't see a distortment of his body shape. I'm not an official.
It was literally by
a
couple of inches, if anything, wasn't it?
I think he was really unlucky. I know obviously it was retaken for encroachment. There's nothing you can argue about that. My argument was... Ayew did not take the penalty again.
Yeah.
Ayew takes the penalty.
I think it should be part of the rule that the same taker should take it again.
And I have made this assumption, and it's going to sound strange when I phrase this. It is like Solskjaer. There's a player encroaches in the box, De Gea misses, they take the penalty again, and then Solskjaer saying, actually I want to bring on Dean Henderson to save this now.
Yeah.
And then Henderson saving it. It's exactly what it's like. It doesn't matter however you look at it. It should be the same taker every time.
It's kind of, yeah. It's kind of, I guess, almost, yeah, I don't really have anything to add other than that. I think
the way you got to look at it
very harsh.
Is that it's a harsh decision, but irregardless, Palace deserve to win.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's big red lights already for United.
Yeah.
First game, they really needed to prove themselves. They made third. They're back in the Champions League. They're trying to attract these players, and they lose to Palace.
It almost says a lot about how United really offered nothing to the game when it took a Palace mistake for them to score.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sort of other things I have to say about this game. The Palace midfield did a good job in sort of protecting the defence. The defence didn't even have much work to do for United because particularly the two in the middle, James McCarthy and James MacArthur, they sort of sound like they're meant for each other with the similar names, but they did excellent.
I do feel that's what Hodgson is trying to encourage. They want to play very much on the break, almost take it so that you almost become a 6.
Yeah, sort of.
Just tuck in, and then you can exploit the pace of what he has in Zaha and Ayew and Townsend. And funny, because he picked up an assist, Jeffrey Schlupp,
Yeah.
And what that brings is when you play a natural left back at left wing, he has that defensive ability to drop back.
Yeah. About that Schlupp assist, I don't know how the United defence let that get across the box to Townsend.
Because it's Maguire.
Yeah, well, Lindelof wasn't particularly good in the game either.
Well, I don't think anyone was. I don't think you can praise anyone in that United game.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
However, let's fly on down to London, where it was a derby. Second derby in a week. Cool, we're being treated here, aren't we?
Cool. Arsenal, West Ham, nothing bigger.
I may have got a little bit excited with my prediction, and I think you'll admit as well you did. However, it
We
was a
both
little
went
bit
for
of
3
squeaky
goal
bum time.
margins, but you
A
know,
little bit of a squeaky bum time. My guy Lacazette scoring again.
I think I had a bit of a squeaky bum, sort of, you know, following it.
It was a very close game. Lacazette getting a very good goal to start the game with, kind of taking the pace of it. Just for the whole team to fall asleep just before half time.
Yeah. There was a kind of appeal that I know United fans, obviously, you know, a mate of ours as well, that kind of said about it. Gabriel had a penalty appeal against him. West Ham appealed it strongly. It was sort of a theme I saw for West Ham last week, was a point I made about them last week as well, and also in this particular game as well. They seem to spend more time appealing for penalties than playing football. Although they did take a game to us.
Lewis, is that was a penalty.
Yeah.
I will admit that. It's a penalty. It's clumsy.
But
his arm is flailing behind him. It's a penalty.
I also noticed there was a West Ham penalty appeal before Arsenal scored as well, earlier on in the game. I can't remember which particular one that was, what happened, but I just kind of picked up on that.
The big things I picked up on is Tierney picked up a slight tight groin in the warm-ups. Kolasinac went in. You'd think he'd be able to do it. He was at fault, in my opinion, for the goal. Just not tucking in on his man of Fredericks. We know Fredericks has got pace.
Yeah.
Just a very well-driven ball into the 6-yard box, which Antonio is always scoring, and he's not followed.
That's the thing. He's got the pace to get into the positions to finish that off.
I think the ways you've got to look at it is guaranteed. Yeah, I agree. It's a Gabriel gave away a penalty. However, this is now 2 wins on the bounce for Arsenal. Nketiah came on, scored a very nice little finish. It gives us the 2-1. We need a little bit of luck this season, I think. It's unfortunate for West Ham, but again, performances don't win games.
If you really deserve to win the game, then you would have, found a way to sort of do it and force a way for the result to go your way. But that being said, I do think West Ham did well. Sort of ever since Arsenal scored the first goal, really, West Ham became a real problem with their sort of directness. It was a real problem for Arsenal.
Oh yeah, I agree very much so. I've got down they were night and day from what I saw in the Newcastle game, and they set up with a 5-back. They defended well in numbers. They really kind of took a game to us. However, I think just show that we just had that little bit more than them.
Yeah, and then
we played to concede in the 89th minute it was a really well worked goal by Ceballos and Saka and Nketiah. I think that kind of just showed that West Ham were willing to go for that draw. They were taking the point, which I don't blame them. A point at the Emirates is a very good result. However,
but the thing is, you've also got to look at then why would you go back on what was working, and I think that may have been West Ham's undoing. If they were, being all so direct, why would you kind of let up on that on a chance for 3 points when every point matters in a battle down below?
I think the way I looked at it is that it's just they've got some big games coming up. I'm pretty sure their next game is not a fun one. I just need to double check it so I can get this right, so I'm not slaughtered. Their next game is Wolves. It's such a hard game. And to then go into that with such a gut-and loss to Arsenal, you do go, how high is that confidence now? Yeah,
I can probably tell you that the answer to that, and that's not very. But I've got one last thought on this game, and that's the thing that I said was kind of a theme throughout this weekend. We had Richarlison for Everton, we had Bamford for Leeds, and I thought Aubameyang was that for Arsenal in this game.
Yeah.
It was constant runs in behind, stretching West Ham, and that sort of, it's the reason the first goal happened, and it's also, a reason why Arsenal, although not being 100% on form in this game, still, were creating chances as much as West Ham, took the game to them. That's kind of all my thoughts.
I think that kind of justified his rest for this week, the Carabao Cup win.
Yeah.
The way he performed, him and Lacazette, too right, they should have had the night off.
And I think Nketiah, on the flip side, Nketiah also deserved the start in the game because of his goal.
In which he scored in.
Yeah, 2 and 2.
Just two on the bounce, so you start arguing maybe he is more of a option. Maybe he isn't this youngster we chuck on for 10 minutes. Maybe he's an option.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've got to go talk about Spurs. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, guys. I know you don't want us to talk about this game. I mean, it was
only when they're
goals,
losing.
I mean, there was only 7 goals, so I don't really know if you want us to talk about it.
It's funny because we both predicted a very dry game. I said 0-0, you said 1-1.
Well, a record was broken in this game. I say a record was broken. It was equalised.
Yeah. Spurs don't break records.
Spurs don't do anything. This is the first time since 2004 that there was 4 assists. There was 3 assists to set up. It was the same person to set up a hat-trick, basically.
Kane got assists for all 4.
Henry did it for Bergkamp. I can't remember.
Of course, it's an Arsenal record.
It's an 04 record. If you want to know, do the research, because I have forgotten. I apologise, everyone.
That's alright. It's only Spurs.
However, it's an Ings brace, but it just... I've literally got written down here, helpless Southampton.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe it.
It's kind of weird that you would press a line so high against a team that has a player with the pace of Son in it, and then not change when he starts scoring goals. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
It was kind of... It was weird how...
It's a game in which you wonder why Hasenhüttl didn't change at half time.
Yeah, well, to be honest, you would have thought the players would have a bit of common sense to change anyway. If you've got Son absolutely, bombing it in behind you, and Kane is clever enough to know that that's what Son can do. Kane sort of dropped in and started just playing those balls in behind a Son, and it just kept working. And why would Kane stop making those balls if Southampton aren't doing anything about it?
I think the way I kind of looked at this is with a loss to Palace, a loss to Brentford in the Carabao Cup, a loss to Southampton, a loss to Tottenham. 3 losses on the bounce now.
Yeah, and you sort of expected them to at least, take a game to Palace, and you would expect them to beat a Championship side. Most definitely, it's not good, is it?
It's just I've literally got to get down. I've got a long season ahead for Southampton.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks like it could be a long, hard season for Southampton.
Yeah, and and Hasenhüttl was completely honest at the end of the game, about how poor it was. I don't think either team was very good defensively. I thought, Tottenham let Southampton in a few times in the first half, particularly with Danny Ings. Sort of Danny Ings and Che Adams in the first half were a threat, and I thought that Gineppo played well in the first half for Southampton, but in the second half, all of them were nowhere to be seen. Because, Kane kept putting it in behind and Son kept scoring, and nothing else was really happening in the game. Really, until the end when Doherty handballed it, and Ings gave Southampton their second in what was really a consolation.
Long season ahead for those boys down there.
The last thought I've got on the game is it was obviously between Son and Kane the man of the match. I sort of gave it to Kane because Kane was really sort of the man who put everything on a plate for Son, really. I don't really think that any of the goals were particularly spectacular from Son's side, although it is spectacular to score 4 goals in a Premier League fixture. But I thought Kane was sort of really the mastermind behind all sort of 5 goals, really. That's kind of all I have to say on that game.
Right, we're going to fly up to the Toon.
Cool, we're flying everywhere today with you.
Yeah, I know.
Not particularly happy day in Newcastle.
We got very wrong.
Yeah.
I said 2-2.
I said a narrow Newcastle win, yeah.
which ended 3-0 Brighton.
Which is kind of weird because, you know, I thought Brighton did well against Chelsea, but I didn't expect, you know, it wasn't spectacular. And Newcastle were nothing short of excellent against West Ham, and that didn't really transpire to be the case against Brighton.
Well, they were shit.
Yeah, they were.
Quite frankly, I think
they
even
were
Bruce
awful.
more or less said that in a positive way. He said the first 2 goals we more or less gave away, in which they did.
Yeah, they were 2-0 down before 7 minutes had passed.
Did you know, for Brighton, that is Malpay becomes only the second ever player for Brighton to score a brace?
Is that behind like Glenn Murray or something?
Most likely, I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah. More pay was good, but obviously that all sort of happened in the first 10 minutes for him, and then Brighton. I've got here Newcastle, very poor start. Didn't really carry on very well either. It's sort of, they didn't really offer much.
It slowed down in the second half, didn't it? I think what Graham Potter saw in the first half, he would have enjoyed enough.
Yeah.
I think 2 points, again 3 points, 2-0 up at half time at St George's Park. Where's St George's Park? St James's Park. Sorry, I'm offending so many Newcastle fans now.
Yeah. Geordies, abuse him in the comments.
Go for it. Do it.
And then there wasn't really much else that happened in that game other than Connolly scoring a lovely curve goal.
The last kind of thing. And then I've got Yves Bissouma, who I actually rate quite a bit. He channeled his inner WWE.
God, that was ferocious.
He went for if any WWE fans, he's gone for a Shawn Michaels Sweet Chin music on Jamal Lewis. I don't think there was much argument.
I mean, the ball was sort of in that general area, but still.
Yeah, it's always a risk when you're at it like that.
There was I was watching Match of the Day, and literally all of them were defending Basuma, saying, "Oh, it's not intentional or anything," but just look where his fucking foot is. There's no way that's not a red card. That's in a dangerous place. They sort of say, you know, overhead kicks are dangerous for high boot. Then that's no different. That's even worse because he's just studded him in the face.
I think my last kind of point I have on Newcastle is that with 2 games in this game they already looked out of their depth.
Yeah.
And we spoke a lot about how Bruce maybe not the right man to get the best out of the players.
Yeah, absolutely.
This game just maybe that statement was correct and maybe West Ham were just shit.
Yeah, that really did
maybe
sort of look like the
just
case.
Looked better because West Ham played so poor, and it's already shown in a game in which there's a team that brought them a game, they crumbled. No, Wilson was unheard of.
Yeah.
Andy Carroll was non-existent.
Sort of on Newcastle's attack in front, the only positive thing that really happened was Wilson was created a very good chance, which he put the header wide when he probably should have scored, but Newcastle's performance didn't deserve a goal in that game, so it's probably justified that he missed it. Yeah, that's kind of everything I have. Actually, there's one more thing I wanted to draw attention to, and that was Tariq Lamptey on the right-hand side.
Yes,
he was
very impressed with him.
Excellent when he was on the pitch. I'm not really surprised he was taken off after an hour. He must have been fucking knackered. He was running. He was a little zip
One thing I think England can say we've got depth at is right back.
Yeah, there's loads. There's absolutely loads. We've got a lot of top right backs: Walker, Wan-Bissaka, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Tariq Lamptey, if he carries on this form, is in there too. Can't forget about Ainsley Maitland-Niles, obviously.
Even Max Aarons.
Yeah, one for the future, most definitely. And I thought him and Trossard down that right-hand side was sort of instrumental to Brighton, winning so dominantly.
Yeah, I think what we've got to do now is we've got to head over to the defending Premier League champions. And
cool, we're not flying there this time.
New men. I went 2-1 Liverpool, and you went 2-2, which I think I'm quite impressed with.
We both got Liverpool scoring 2 goals, right?
You don't get anything for that.
Yeah.
The man who's once called the best player in the world.
Go on.
By a youngster. He said, I don't do if buts or maybes.
Sadio Mane, he's the best player in the world.
If my auntie had balls, she'd be my uncle, but she doesn't, so she. Why are you laughing? Right, that's enough of that. Right. The game was actually going quite well for Chelsea until Christensen decided that he wanted a little hug.
That's I sort of wrote in my notes that, you know, he was sent off for a rugby tackle on Mane, but that's not even that's a foul in rugby. That's a high challenge.
It's a hug.
Yeah.
And Lampard to say after the game, if that was given as a red straight away, I'd understand, but he gave me yellow, then a red. Well, what you've just said there is it's a red, but he's got away with it.
Well, the thing is, the people seem to be debating about is whether Kepa was there and whether he was denying Mane.
Shoe with the second half performance, he weren't getting there.
Yeah, but that point aside, I don't think, you know, people were debating that, and they weren't debating the fact whether it was just a red card challenge anyway, which it is.
The way I look at it is that what the referee's got to make in that decision, that he needs to be 100% sure Kepa is winning that ball safely and cleanly.
Yeah.
And even if there's a 1% of doubt, Christensen has to be sent off. And there is definitely more than 1% of doubt that Kepa wasn't getting there.
You just look from the situation and from the challenge itself. It's just a red card all over.
Yeah.
And that kind of seemed to be a lot of a thing that took Chelsea out of the game.
Yeah, that did take Chelsea out of the game. I mean, I don't like talking about him because a lot of people go, he's a defensive striker, he just gets assists. Yeah, he did get a nice assist. I will admit that, Liverpool fans. You hear that? Firmino got an assist. But did he get a goal? No, he didn't.
No.
Stop saying he's defensive.
So he's not a goal scoring striker, which, you know, the striker, that was kind of what the position is sort of meant for, really.
But the next part I want to talk about, he needs shooting.
Cool. I know exactly what you're on about, and Chelsea will be glad they've got in a new signing.
He's shit.
You know, you can talk about confidence and that all you want, but, you know, you've got to be booting that clear if you're not confident, and clearly he thought, I'll go for a little pass.
Liverpool play, why would you play a short pass there?
And when, you know, you've got a set of eyes, presumably, you can see that Liverpool have got players right in front of you. Just get it clear, mate. Don't take the chance.
I have to say, though, what a touchdown from Mane.
Yeah.
He's taken down a goalkeeper kick like it was nothing.
And then also the header before was good as well, and he controlled that well.
I think
you've got to say
that game is whatever Salah can do, he can do better.
And
that's what's
that's
so scary
kind of going to be the sort of an intra-team competition between Salah and Mane for Premier League goals this season. And
But overall, it could be a long. They need to get Kepa out of goal. Take him out of the limelight for a couple of days.
I've got
the more they play him, the more
the less money they'll get for him.
Well, no, it's the more the media. He's obviously got low confidence right now. He's 24.
Yeah.
They need to take him out of goal because the more he plays, the more mistakes he makes, the more the media will criticise him. The less confidence he's going to get. He needs to come away out of that team. If it's 2-3 games, put Mendy in goal. Even if it's a Caballero in goal. Because he had a very good game against Barnsley. Don't get me wrong, it's Barnsley. People say Barnsley. He made some good saves, but it's a clean sheet.
Yeah.
Just take Kepa out of the goal. Take him out of the picture for 5 minutes. Just let him get his confidence back and then introduce him back in. Because they're never going to get the money back for Kepa.
They're not going to get what they paid, but it's sort of about either reviving him or recuperating as much money as they can, so the damage has sort of been limited. But other than I said about Kepa's mistakes in my notes here, but then I also wrote a separate comment just saying Kepa shambolic, because it was nothing less than that. He was terrible. There was a point earlier in the game where he came out to try and beat Salah in a pace battle to the ball, which, you know, it's not happening, mate. Just don't bother.
Just poor decision making, innit?
Yeah, which, you know, fortunately for Chelsea, he didn't. That mistake didn't cost him anything, or just poor lack of judgment. It could have been a mistake, but it wasn't in the end. Oh, actually, and one more thing I have to say about the game was Thiago's debut. He come on for half time for the second half, and he broke a record in his first 45 minutes of Premier League football. He completed 75 passes, which is the most by any player in a match where they've played 45 minutes or less.
It's just disgusting.
Yeah.
And we've got them next week. Brilliant.
Yeah, let's hope Thiago sort of, I don't know, dies in training or something.
Let's quickly go to the Leicester game, then quickly we forget about that. We just don't need to remember that. A game in which actually was quite a fun game to watch. I've gone for a 3-1, you went for a 2-1, ended 4-2. Burnley kind of shocked Leicester quite early on with a Chris Wood goal.
Chris Wood absolutely bullied James Justin to score that.
But it just kind of, Leicester quickly turns it round. They quickly got themselves back in the game with a Harvey Barnes goal. He seems to be flying in with the goals at the minute. And an Eric Peters own goal, which you got to laugh at.
Of course, Stoke legend. I'll sort of take over from here. Right from, we sort of spoke about Barnes getting a goal. It was another excellent performance from Barnes. You know, after what he did against West Brom last weekend, it was very much, you know, carry on with the same form, and he got a goal to show for it. Sort of, also, we've got to talk about a man that sort of, he's made 2 appearances for the club and he's still been excellent. It's Castagna, and he was excellent going forward again, and he was very instrumental in everything that, or nearly everything that Leicester had going forward. The stuff that he wasn't involved in, it was going down the other side, and Barnes was involved in it. And Burnley had their chances, but it was sort of these performances which really sort of brought the win for Leicester. Don't know if you've got anything to add to that.
I think the big thing that I picked up on is that Burnley already looked tired.
Yeah.
Like the 70th, 75th minute, they were just giving away loose balls. They were just really sloppy.
I think that's maybe a sort of crack in what Burnley do, is that they sort of defend very physically, and that can be quite tiring going to the end of the game. Maybe, if that's sort of what you're alluding to.
I don't know. I just feel it's going to be a long season for Burnley. The sign, okay, yeah, I think they've just completed the signing of Dale Stevens. He's not going to bring anything to that team. Well, I know they're about to try and sign Harry Wilson. I think that does bring a lot more to him.
Yeah.
It's Burnley.
Well, the thing is, you say it's going to be a long season for Burnley. What season do Burnley fans have that isn't long with the football they play? As much as there were 6 goals in this game, it, like you said in the opening, our sort of season preview podcast, Burnley, when they know they're the worst team in a game, they very much sort of like to play anti-football, and they still conceded 4 in this game, which, you know, you sort of have to mark as a sort of Sean Dyche gone wrong.
Yeah. Ginger prick. But I don't really want to talk about Burnley much more, to be honest with you, because it just makes me sick, and I want to have some lunch soon. So we're going to go over to Aston Villa versus Sheffield.
Yeah.
Where you got it wrong, and I got the goal margin right. I've gone for a 2-1 Villa, and you went for a 1-0 Sheffield. 1-0 Villa. It was actually quite a poor game, and actually, to be honest,
it was a fucking boring game, if I'm honest.
Bollocks! The first more excited side of it came from the first half.
Yeah.
John Egan sent off, but basically what was identical to Christensen.
Yeah, and he was also denying Watkins a goal opportunity as well.
Yeah.
So exactly what Christensen did, really.
Yeah. Obviously, then we had the Chris Basham winning a fucking penalty. I don't know where he came from, but he came flying out of nowhere just from Matt Target either way.
Yeah.
And Big Emmy, on his debut, saving the penalty against Lundstrom.
God, I feel like a proud father.
Just for the strikers not really to find their feet that game. There was no real kind of threat from the strike force. It was actually Mings and Konza setting up from a set piece to get the 1-0 victory there.
Yeah, that was Ezri Konsa getting the winner from a Mings flick on from a target corner. It sort of the set piece really seemed like it kind of fit the game because it was the only way there was going to be an undoing in this game, because the general play was dreadful. That it not really much happened in this game at all, other than sort of the penalty in the red.
I think the big thing that Dean Smith will take from this is his 3 points. It's a clean sheet,
and
his 2 centre halves set up the goal.
And it's also a step towards Villa being in the Premier League another season. Maybe Villa sort of edged it. I think, don't really have much to say other than that. Watkins was a danger a couple of times, but yeah.
I think Sheffield just shot themselves in the foot. They kind of were just playing in a way they didn't really need to play. Like giving away that red card, it just didn't really need to happen, and
yeah,
it was just a strange game in which you go. When I kind of said Sheffield United to go down this season, I know that probably caused a few heads to turn, but this is why I think.
Yeah.
I don't think that kind of magic, that kind of overachievement's there anymore. I think when you recruit championship talent, you get what you pay for.
And you sort of take away, what is essentially your best player in the form of Henderson. I know that wasn't their choice, that was the choice of Man United, but it kind of doesn't put you in a very good position.
Not at all. We're going to stay in... I don't know if you've got anything else that you need to say on that.
No.
We're going to head over to... We're just going to finish up on our last one here, which was
not travelling far for this one.
Not travelling far, not at all. Some may even argue to the better side of...
the Midlands.
The Midlands. I've gone for a 2-2 because this game's always high scoring. You went for a 2-1. Actually ended 3-1, so it was still high scoring.
Fucking Gabriel Jesus in the last minute messing up me getting 3 points.
Also, breaking the record.
What was the record?
The goal scores this weekend.
Ah, 44. Yeah. That sort of rounded it off as the last fixture of the weekend.
Overall, it was just a very poor performance from Wolves, if I'm honest. They played at a very slow, low energy compared to what they usually play to. City kind of matched it with a slower pace, which I think frustrated Wolves quite a bit.
Well, the thing is,
to run into themselves into the ground because they didn't really have any.
They just sort of let the ball do the work. They just sort of pass the ball amongst themselves, which is what City do when they play opposition that they know they can do that against, and it just kind of worked. Just sort of, and De Bruyne was sort of like the metronome that was the sort of tick to that play, and that's kind of, how it played out.
I think Wolves weren't awful, but it comes down to, again, they shot themselves in the foot. They gave away a sloppy penalty.
And also, Podence really needs to start scoring the chances he gets for them to get these sort of upsets against like City, and that definitely. Podence had a couple of chances. I got, but after City went 2-0 up, I've got in my notes so close from Podence twice, and one of them was on the turn. The second one he tried to sort of chip it, and you sort of think, if those go in, and then Jimenez gets his goal, Wolves are 3-2 up, they may sort of see that they can hold on to a game, and Jesus doesn't get that last minute goal.
I think overall Pep's going to walk away a very happy man, because I think that sends out a warning.
City were the better side. City were still the better side.
I think that sends a warning to Liverpool, saying we are still here.
Yeah.
We want our title back.
Against the Wolves side, which, has caused upsets in the past. So
definitely against City. They really frustrate City.
Yeah, particularly.
My last thing I want to say on this game is, believe it or not, this is now a record for City. That is the 10th win in the last 10 seasons on the opening game. They haven't lost an opening season game in 10 seasons.
Yeah, obviously they didn't play in game week 1, did they? So, which is, you kind of... City have been one of the sort of powerhouses of the last sort of decade, and it's a stat that it's impressive, but it doesn't surprise me with this City side.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Last sort of thoughts on the game. I mentioned how De Bruyne was the tick. I sort of sort of thought he was the best player on the pitch. Foden, despite his little naughtiness while away with England, was good as well.
Well, it's good that he's getting with doing that. It takes the attention off him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, that's kind of the way you reply to that. Is not with words, but with good performances.
Yeah, definitely.
Which kind of rounds me off on that game.
So what we're going to quickly do is we're just going to go through and talk about if we got any Game Week 2 bold assumptions right, which I'm really kicking myself at because I gave you 3 points.
You gave me 3 points for at least 3 players to score exactly a brace, and to be honest, that was a very bold prediction for at least 3 players to score exactly 2 goals. But in the end, there were braces galore. What do we have written down here? We've got Zaha brace. We've got.
You don't need to know.
We've got Helder Costa. We've got Sadio Mane. We've got Danny Ings. We've got Neil Maupay.
You don't get any more extra points for being a smart ass. I hope you know that.
That's 10 points for that, I reckon.
No, it's not because I'm still winning. So, what were your other ones? Because I don't actually know.
My other one was James Rodriguez to get an assist. You gave me 1 point for that based on how many chances he created against Tottenham.
Yeah.
I got that. That was for the last goal. And at least 25 goals in the weekend, which was absolutely smashed.
Quite easily, yeah.
Yeah.
Mine I'm quite actually happy with. There'll be a goalkeeping error in Game Week 2. Thank you very much, Kepa. So that got me 2 points. Willian will pick up his 4th assist. Willian was pretty shit. So cheers, Willian.
Wasn't much to report from him.
There'll be 2 penalties awarded. There was a lot.
Did that happen in the first game we spoke about?
I think that was either it may have been the first or second. I think there was 2 penalties. First and second, I think, did that quite easily.
It was the second game we spoke about, the Leeds-Fulham game.
Yeah, that had 2 penalties.
So, at the start of the weekend, you'd already had that. So
as things stand, going into Game Week 3, I lead currently with 20 points, while Lewis follows me quite closely with 16.
Yeah,
So
over the weekend, I got 10 and you got 12, which were significant improvements on what we both did on the first game weekend.
I think as we go into Game Week 3, it's either about me trying to make that gap bigger or you closing it. So I'd love to hear your predictions. Let's go for it. Let's go through these predictions, Lewis.
Okay, I'll get us kicked off then, I guess, with Brighton versus Man United. I've gone with a 1-1 draw, which is... It may not even surprise you, to be honest, that, but Brighton, excellent, did alright against Chelsea, did excellent against Newcastle. Man United shambolic against Palace, and I just think Brighton might... I sort of seen a few people say this in sort of punditry, that if you want United to lose, just give them the ball. They don't know how to attack slowly. They're not like a City. And I just think Brighton are going to be good at that and holding their own. And I think if Lamptey, I don't know if Lamptey has the legs still left in him after that game at the weekend to play.
What makes me laugh is you talk
really...
so much about it just to get this wrong.
What's your prediction?
Well, I've gone 2-1 United. They beat Luton 3-0 quite comfortably with their B team. Yeah, granted, Palace game was shambolic, but you can't tell me they're not going to go into this not wanting to win.
They're going to want it for sure. And
I just don't think it's about the quality. Brighton haven't got the quality compared to United. It's going to end 2-1. United will win it.
All right. You've only gone 1 goal off of mine.
But it still means I get all the points.
Yeah, we'll see. We got Palace Everton next. I've gone with another draw. I've gone with 2-2. As much as Everton have been excellent from an attacking sense, I think Palace have put in excellent performances in their games so far. I think Big Wilf will get on the score sheet again. And 2-2 is what I'm saying for this one.
I've got 2-1 Everton. I think it's a game again where it comes down to quality.
It was literally the 2 results I was decided behind.
And I think in certain areas on the pitch, Everton outclass Palace. I don't think there's an area on the pitch where Palace actually outclass Everton.
Yeah,
Don't get me
fair
wrong, I
enough.
think it's going to be a close game. They've both started the season very strongly, but I think Everton have got what it takes just to edge it.
Fair enough. Like you say, both the results are kind of said so far. We're one goal off of each other, and it's sort of, I'm kind of predicting a lot less goals than the previous weekend. I just kind of think it's
I
going to
have
be a
not.
little anticlimax.
I have not.
All right. Um, what have we got
Because I've
next?
gone
West Brom, Chelsea.
4-0
What?
Chelsea.
4-0 Chelsea. I've gone 3-1 Chelsea. Go on, give us a little insight as to why 4-0 Chelsea.
Well, you got no Kieran Gibbs, you got no Bilic. It's going to have to be the assistant manager, which always plays an impact. They've got to play a different fullback. I can't tell you who's going to play there because they've got so many fullbacks, so many younger defenders.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a game, and I think the confidence that Chelsea would have picked up against Barnsley. Havertz scored a hat-trick. A lot of people go, it was Barnsley, but it's confidence.
You still got to get the goals, haven't you? You can't blame someone for scoring 3 goals against a lesser side.
I'm going to be absolutely shocked if we see Kepa play. So I think that could even be a big reason in why Chelsea actually win this. Thiago Silva got minutes, Chilwell got minutes. All the players are starting to come back, and I just think...
Any sign of Pulisic?
I don't think Pulisic was in there, no.
Alright, so that'll be Mount on the wing again.
So yeah, 4-0.
Yeah, I've got 3-1 for pretty much the same reasons. Chelsea will score 3 goals. It's literally like 1 goal less than you said, so that's kind of how I see it, as Chelsea scoring a load of goals. I just think West Brom have it in them for 1 goal. Maybe Chelsea do give Kepa 1 more game, or Mendy's not ready to play or whatever. I just think they might just nick a goal in the game at some point. So I've gone with 3-1 Chelsea. And
then we got Burnley Southampton.
Yeah, do you want to get us started, or me?
1-1. They're both shit.
Yeah, it's another case of us being 1 goal off each other. I've gone with 2-1 Southampton, but the thing is, at the same time, I kind of think about it going, are Southampton really fit to win a football match? Are Burnley really, it's kind of a battle over who can be worse in this game based on...
Burnley Southampton fans. But they're both shit.
Yeah.
I'm more excited about the next game, which is actually a Yorkshire derby.
Yeah. Yeah, go on.
I got 3-2 Leeds. I think there's going to be goals in this game, but again, I do think Leeds have actually got a better side than Sheffield United.
I think Leeds have got a better side than Sheffield United, yeah, in terms of, the quality on the pitch. Sheffield have the Premier League experience, but haven't really shown that in their sort of performance, especially against Villa. Sort of nothing. Leeds, they've got goals. They've scored 7 goals in their first 2 games. They've also conceded 7, but I'm sort of more focusing on the scored. I'm going with 3-1 Leeds in this one. A lot of our predictions are very close together, and we sort of, I guess that's based on sort of the reasons that we kind of agree on.
Oh, man, you're full of shit. Now, unfortunately, we have to do Spurs-Newcastle. No one wants to talk about this, so... Unfortunately, I've gone 3-1 Spurs.
Yeah.
Hammered Southampton. They've won in their Europa League qualifier. They're going to do 2 wins on the bounce now. Newcastle side that already look out their depth. I've gone 3-1 Spurs.
Well, the thing is, you kind of say that about you never know what you could get with Newcastle. Against West Ham, I know West Ham played poorly, but Newcastle were brilliant, and then all of a sudden, what happens against Brighton? They're fucking awful. But purely because of Tottenham having about 5 billion fixtures in the space of like 2.5 hours, I've gone with 2-1 Tottenham, just because I think they'll be a bit leggy and they might even rotate. It's another case of us being 1 goal off each other.
Have you been looking at my notes?
It kind of feels like that, doesn't it? The only game where we haven't been 1 goal off of each other was West Brom Chelsea. I said 3-1 and you said 4-0, so 1 goal on each team.
Because I've got it right. This is the thing.
Yeah, all right.
Man City Leicester, which is it's got history. This game, these have always been good games.
Yeah.
Not necessarily high scoring, but they've always been good. I've actually gone 4-2 City, which is the one that I'm very scared about.
Yeah, sort of the Mahrez derby. Yeah, I mean, I've gone with 2-1, which is kind of your score halved. Yours was in City's favour, yeah. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
But which
Mine's a
City?
2-1 victory for City.
Ooh.
Oh, both the Esther cities. Yeah. 2-1. I think they're both very good sides. I think City's the better one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way you got to look at it. Again, it comes down to the quality of the 11, and City out quality Leicester.
This is going to be another one where City win it 3-1 in the stoppage time because I've said 2-1 City, innit?
Yeah. Why
Yeah.
not?
And
then I still get the goal difference as well because it's 2 goals.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Take the piss.
Next one, West Ham Wolves. Again, a lot of these games, it comes down to the quality of the 11.
Yeah.
This is why I've gone 3-0 Wolves. I just think Wolves, they need to bounce back from the City loss. West Ham look deflated. I think Wolves are going to jump on that.
It's another one where I'm 1 goal off you because I've gone 2-0 Wolves.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, for very much the same reasons. Wolves are just better. I expect Wolves to battle for Europa League, and I expect West Ham to, well, let's say West Ham will be a fair few points off in the battle for the Europa League.
Yeah. So this is one I think you've done very different to me. Fulham Villa.
Yeah.
I've gone 2-1 Villa. However, I think you've gone for a draw.
I've gone 2-1 Villa as well.
For fuck's sake. You've been reading my notes, haven't you?
I've got exact. It's funny because your notes are in a completely different building to mine, and and you sort of have kept it very secretive from me until now, and our predictions are so close, and I've gone with 2-1 Villa as well. Go on, give us your reasons.
It's just Villa looked quite. They didn't look the best, but they looked sharper than Sheffield United.
They looked worth the win if you compare the two sides. Yeah, and I think that's kind of going to be Fulham's undoing. I think what Scott Parker said is going to come true again, is Fulham in the important phases of the match are just going to not be there. They'll get a goal when it's not really important. I can imagine they'll be 2-0 by that point, and it will just be some consolation goal at the end. But yeah, I've gone with Villa 2, Fulham 1.
And then the next one, which was painful to do because it's Arsenal-Liverpool, and I don't like writing it.
I don't want to. I didn't like predicting this one. Go on.
And I've said 3-1 Liverpool.
I've said the same amount of goals, but I've handed a goal over to Arsenal. I've gone with 2-2.
See, that seems optimistic.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it
was very much. It was very much a biased.
Changed there.
Yeah, I could sort of tell that you deliberately sort of went, oh, sort of the Eeyore voice. I'm feeling a bit blue today. Go on.
Just they're better than us.
Yeah, and you sort of look at, Mane, best player in the world. We'll probably get copyrighted for that earlier. But yeah, there's not really much to say other than Liverpool are an excellent side. I just have the confidence that the end of last season we were excellent against the big sides we played, and I just want to carry that confidence going into this game. Like you said earlier, we've got 2 wins on the bounce in the league, 3 if you count all competitions, against a very capable Leicester side, let's make no mistake. But yeah.
It's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be a painful watch.
And according to both of us, there's going to be 4 goals in it.
Yeah, which could be interesting.
But
right, we're going to end it up now
with our bolds.
Our bolds, which I've awarded myself 2 points for every single one, and I think you're going to agree with me here because they're all very
go on.
fucking
What's your
bold.
first one?
There will be 4 goals in the first 15 minutes across all of the game weeks.
What do you mean?
So, in the first 15 minutes,
yeah,
across this game week, there'll be 4 goals scored.
Okay. Oh, okay. So in each game, okay, I get you.
Not in each game, but in total.
Yeah,
So say, like,
I was going to say, because
there's
you've
a
predicted
goal
some
early
games
on
with
in the
less than
Arsenal
4
game,
goals.
and then there's a goal early on in the Villa game, and then I'll get that. I think that's 2, because there's not actually been that many goals in the first halves.
I'll give you 2 because it's a very specific thing to sort of mention. Yeah. Yeah. And what's your next
My
one?
next one, again, this is another specific one to mention. There will be at least 5 yellow cards in the Spurs game. This doesn't just necessarily mean for Spurs. This is just the Spurs versus Newcastle game.
Yeah. Okay. I can sort of. That's kind of in a sort of similar mindset to one of the ones that I have. But yeah, so you've given yourself
finally,
2 points. I'll give you the 2 points for that one.
there will be 1 hat-trick this game week.
Exactly 1 hat-trick. So
Exactly 1 hat-trick,
okay. Yeah, since you've said exactly, I sort of agree with you with the 2 points on that one as well, which kind of leads us into my ones, which I tell you what, I won't do it in the order it's written. Because you said about the 5+ yellow cards in the Tottenham Newcastle, I'll go with mine. I said Newcastle to receive a red card.
Okay.
Which I think is a very specific one, and I want to give myself 2 points for that one. Sort of in the same sort of mentality as your one with that game. I said 1 single direct free kick scored. I can sort of make a case for it being specific, and it's a 2-pointer. No more than 1, no less. Exactly 1 direct free kick scored. I don't know what you got to say about that.
Yeah, go on. You can have to 2.
Yeah, and I'll admit this is a definite 1-pointer, but I said 30 or less goals scored in the match week this season. This game week.
That's 1.
That's a 1-pointer, which is weird because kind of totaling up my score predictions, I've got 32 goals in the predictions, but I've just thought maybe 1 or 2 of those games won't live up to it and we'll get 30 or less.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'll take that point on there.
So yeah, that's the bold predictions, and
that's done.
Wraps us up, ready for game week 3, doesn't it?
To commence tomorrow, which will start with the Brighton United game.
Yeah.
But again, just want to thank everyone who's been listening and getting a lot of comments and that. For those who know, obviously, who we are, really appreciate it. We're appreciating all the support. Like I say again, hopefully some changes coming with it all. But with everything that's going on in the world, there's a little bit of everything takes a little longer. So I appreciate everyone's support and
especially on our season preview. That was more numbers than I expected.
Yes.
So that was excellent. But if sort of wrap it up now, I'll link our socials down below. It'd be nice if you'd follow them. Sort of help get the podcast out there to the people that would want to listen to it. If you've got any sort of parting notes.
No, I think other than that, have a good weekend and enjoy the football. And there could be just a little cheeky hint for you there. It could be a double upload week next week.
So midweek games, is there?
No. But you will find out what I mean, Lewis. So Lewis doesn't even know what
this is news to me.
This is how exciting it is.
Cool,
This is how
blimey.
exciting it is. We could potentially have a double upload week. So keep a lookout for that on our socials. It's not confirmed yet, but do keep a lookout for that, guys.
Lovely. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's everything, guys. Thank you very much.
All right. See you later.